Once you find yourself in conflict with a narcissist, it's a virtual guarantee they're going to start playing head games with you. That's why I put together a new course. It's very extensive called Anger Games. I'm going to teach you how to manage anger and conflict with a narcissist. There's a link below that's going to show you how to register, and I hope that you find it to be very insightful. One of the hallmarks of being human is we each have our basic fundamental needs. Literally, from the first day of life, you have certain needs that should be attended to, and then all the way through until your dying day, there are many, many different needs that are part of you having a gratifying and satisfying life. And as you're able to satisfy those needs, then you can move on towards peace and stability. Narcissists have their needs, you have their needs, and we all are looking for the same thing, but there's a big difference between the way healthy and unhealthy individuals do it. First, let's acknowledge that every one of us has certain needs, like we need to belong, or we need to have a sense of camaraderie. We need to have a feeling of safety in the world that we live in. We need affirmation. We need a feeling of freedom. And when I say freedom, a sense of agency that says I get to choose who I'm going to be. We want to have some sort of say-so in how our life unfolds. We need pleasure. There are times when we just want to have happiness, and there are times when we just need to have relaxation that goes along with it. We need to feel understood. We need to have our basic food and lodging and shelter. There are all sorts of things that are a part of our need structure, and so much of the way that we live is driven by pursuing those kind of needs. Now, when narcissists are in the quest for satisfying their own personal needs, they bring certain ingredients along with them that are different from the healthy individual, and their attempts to seek their needs out become part of their pathology. There are three things that I would mention there. First, as narcissists attempt to find need satisfaction, number one, enough is never enough. You'll notice that as you are trying to work with them and coordinate with them, it's like, that didn't satisfy me, or that wasn't right. And so it sets them up to appear to be very psychologically needy. Of course, they won't see it that way. Number two, their methods of trying to satisfy their needs are deplorable. Many times, narcissists will try to get their needs structure met at your expense. How many times have you felt like this person was so driven by their own selfish pursuits that they'll shove their own grandmother aside, so to speak, just to get whatever they want? They don't care about you and your needs. And as a result, there can be a real sense of meanness that goes along with them. And then number three, is they're trying to satisfy their needs. Their efforts are accompanied by many conditions. For example, it may be that you're trying to work with them to have a sense of coordination, and they'll say, well, if you do this for me, then in order for me to get this, then I want you to do that. And so they're constantly saying, well, that wasn't enough, or you need to do more of this or less of that. And you're over there thinking, I'm trying hard to figure out how to coordinate with you, but it's just not working. They have such a sense of self-absorption and a need for control that those kind of ingredients infiltrate their efforts to get their needs satisfied. And as a result, they don't have a sense of us. You see, let's keep in mind that as I have my needs, or as you have your needs, it soon becomes very apparent, well, we're all in the same boat, aren't we? And so we need to have a sense that says, well, why don't we work together on that? And the narcissist says, yeah, I think we need to work together. You need to work for me, and as many of you can work for me, then I'm satisfied. And that's as far as they go in their mindset of us. And as a result, there are multiple patterns then that begin to become apparent as they pursue their basic lifelong needs. Now, one of the things you'll notice along those lines is narcissists are simply takers. Takers only. They may give the appearance of saying, well, they're willing to give and cooperate, but basically they approach you and they approach individuals in their world with the mindset that says, what are you going to do to make my life go better? Their egotism prevents them from being able to have a sense of shared responsibility. In addition, they think in terms of win-lose. I win when my needs are gratified, and I don't really care what happens to you. And if you wind up being on the lesser end of the equation, too bad. And so they tend to have a one up, one down kind of a mindset. As long as they're on the superior end of the equation, as far as they're concerned, my needs are gratified. In addition, then, their approach towards need fulfillment is driven by an attitude of entitlement. Here's what you owe me. I deserve certain things in my life. You don't deserve those things, but I do. And they again forget the notion of our shared humanity. On top of that, the more they approach their needs with this mindset, you can see that criticism is going to be an omnipresent feature. As they're engaging with you, thinking about their particular need in the moment, they're going to let you know pretty frequently. You didn't do this correctly, or you should have done it this way, or why can't you be more of this and less of that? And they'll just criticize the daylights out of you because you're not gratifying their immediate needs. Then in addition to that, lacking a big picture or an analytical way of thinking, their need gratification tends to be driven by mood of the moment. It's like, well, here's what I want right now, and you need to give it to me. And you're thinking, well, wait a minute, where does this fit in with the big picture? Where are we going with this? And it's like, I don't care. Just give me what I want right now. And so they can be very emotionally attached to their need gratification, of course, in a very selfish way. Now, in addition, along with this competitive and critical mindset, in their need gratification efforts, narcissists are consumed with both envy and jealousy. By the way, there's a distinction between those two words. In envy, it's like, I want what you have. And then in their jealousy, they think, and I don't want you to have what I possess. So that's the distinction there. They're never satisfied. And so those two ingredients are omnipresent. In addition, as they're pursuing their needs, they don't see the value of you pursuing your needs. For example, if they think, well, I want to have the privilege to choose, and you say, yeah, me too. It's like, no, yours isn't relevant. Mine is, but yours isn't. Or if you say, well, I want to be understood, and it's like, well, you've got all that you need. I want to be understood. They have a lot of double standards. They don't see the very same things that they're seeking in you. They don't see that as being valid, but it is for them. Beyond that, as they're seeking their needs, they tend to have a very low level of gratitude. When other individuals do finally come along and say, well, I'm willing to work with you, then their thinking is, well, can you give me some more? Or, you should have done it yesterday, as opposed to, thank you. I so appreciate you working with me and coordinating with me. They don't have that mindset. And then you can see that underlying all of this in their pursuit of needs, they're guided by what I would just refer to as a boorish hubris. In other words, do you really know who I am? Because if you did, you would be doing everything that you need to do to make me feel better about myself. And it's just all about me all the time. That's part of the definition of their narcissism. So here you are trying to be healthy with these individuals, and yet, because you have your needs too and they have their needs, but as you continually bump into these kind of attitudes, I don't blame you when you think, well, why bother? These people are just impossible to engage with. One of the things that you pick up on as narcissists approach you with their need structure is they require you to be an enabler. They require you to be an appeaser. They require you to read their mind. They require you to recognize their higher position and your lower position that kind of goes along with that. And then they require you to suppress your own desires and preferences while you're servicing them. That's how narcissists think. Now, go back and recognize every one of us has certain needs. They're just certain basics that are part of making life go well. And yet narcissists, because of their pathological self-absorption and their pathological control, etc., they're just not going to be team players. And so this is where we come to the part where I talk to you about one word that's a favorite word of so many people that are in my profession. It's the word boundaries. Sometimes you just have to establish boundaries as you're trying to establish ways of finding your needs. And basically, it's like, yep, here are my needs, and this is what I believe, and here's my definition of what's right and proper. And then when the narcissist says, well, I'm just going to blow right past you, then I'm hoping you can realize, yes, I see that. That's how you do it. Your need structure pursued in a very different way. Therefore, because I don't agree with how you live, I'm going to go ahead and pursue my needs in a way that's healthy for me. And you set stipulations and consequences, etc., because they just can't and won't factor you in. Narcissists are so empty, they're so depleted on the inside, they're constantly in service of their own needs that they forget the best way to find or to have your needs met is to join with other individuals and say, well, why don't we do this together? I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back. Let's create a sense of community. Let's create a sense of us and of belongingness, and we can all walk away having a sense of gratitude. Narcissists, it's just not in their character to be that way. So I'm hoping you can think, well, actually, I do want to have that interconnectedness. I have my issues that I want to have gratified, and I know you do too. Why don't we know each other more fully so that we can have a real sense of team effort here? The narcissist, basically, their mindset is, it's all about me. That's it, period, end of discussion. And so they're not going to be counted on. My bottom line is when you and I work together, good things can happen. And when the narcissist, with all of their insecurity and their entitlement and their control, comes along and says, I'm changing the rules, my response is going to be, do it over there. I'm not participating with you. I want to have my humanity and have my issues addressed. And part of that means I honor you and your humanity. My love, my concern prompts me to say, let's be both ways. Helpful for myself, helpful for you. That's how we wind up having gratification. They can't think that way. I hope you're anchored in it. Now, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, I hope that you would do so. I'm going to keep more videos coming. My whole intent is to help you know what you're dealing with, and as you do, then it positions you. I'm hoping to have more and more personal improvements in your life. If you have a need for therapy, and many times as you're trying to sort all this out, that can be such an essential ingredient for you. You know, I've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com. There's a link below that will take you to their website. You know, it can be so important for you to have somebody that says, well, I do want to know who you are and what your needs are and how they might have been mismanaged, but how we can do it in a better kind of way. And to have that objective person to say, let's move towards the goal of your being the better version of yourself. If you have that need, go through the link, get the help that you need. It'll be a major investment in yourself, and I hope you would never regret that. In addition, you know that I'm a therapist and I'm retired from my practice, but what I've done is I put together courses, and I'm drawing upon 40 plus years of experience in the therapy office, and each course has at least 25 videos, and each teaching videos, and each one has documents that go along with it, handouts like 1,500 word documents with each video, and guided questions. So it allows you to work in a classroom kind of way in your own home setting. We have my new one is called Anger Games, about how to stay out of the anger that narcissists will generate, particularly in moments of conflict. We also have This Is Me, about establishing boundaries, Free to Be, finding yourself, Ready, Set, Connect, going in the healthy way of connecting with other individuals. In addition, on my website, we also have my webinars, which are 90-minute presentations of a very different nature, along with many articles, access to my podcast and my books, etc. Plenty of resources. You have needs, so do I. We can each say, well, let's talk about yours. I want to share with you mine, and let's see if we can make it work in a coordinated kind of fashion. Unfortunately, narcissists with their core selfishness, it's like, no, I don't do that. It's like, I know, I get it, which is why I'm going to pursue my needs in a healthy way with individuals who are equally committed to healthiness. And in doing so, I hope it positions you to be a person of steadiness, and ultimately, you're going to be able to arrive at your place of peace.